All right, so what does this mean? Well, first of all, it changes how we view addiction. It places it in a much more positive light and a more truthful light. And if we're being honest, I believe that a lot of the interest and stakeholders that we engage on a day-to-day level, there's a certain amount of addiction fatigue where people continuously hear about the problem again and again and again. And people, honestly, are a bit fatigued with it. What this model does is re-energizes momentum around the entire issue, right? It places it in a positive light, starting from strength, not starting from the deficiency, starting from the positive qualities. It also shows us that successful recovery can build upon the positive qualities of individuals. It enhances levels of commitment, empowerment, and purpose, and in that moment, dignity is delivered and hope is renewed. And when you share this information with someone in addiction or in recovery, their eyes light up, their chest sticks out a little more proudly, right? Because this is not Pollyanna-ish. This is truth. That we all have these incredible assets that we're born with. And when we can help others to identify those and then motivate a community to support those, we're going to see positive traction on this front. This also allows, and I mentioned it earlier, treatment providers to have an opportunity to become solutions providers for local businesses looking for dependable and talented leaders in their organization, not just to address the workforce concerns, but those organizations that are looking for transformative and authentic leaders to step in and improve their organizations. And it provides a structured and effective approach to leadership development within the treatment setting. That's what Brian was sharing earlier. It's within that context. We hit on all the high points. So in closing, my mom always told me to find the good in somebody. And I had no idea at the time that she was sharing with me wisdom from above. And it's that wisdom that we all have something to offer, that we all have these hidden treasures that should become the standard for how we view and treat addiction. You see these leadership traits, the tenacity, the resilience, determination, the inspirational motivation, the creativity that people with substance use disorder have. It positions us to impact others around us in a unique, meaningful, and lasting way, in a transformative way. You see, some of the best leaders you may have ever met or will meet may not be in a classroom setting at a university today. They may be sitting in the halls of a treatment facility or attending a 12-step meeting just trying to make it through the day. But they will. And they will emerge to lead, encourage, empower, and inspire others to do the same.
All right, questions? We've got the microphone over here. If anybody has a question, please come over. Mr. Varney?
All right.
Do they not screen these people who are questioning?
I did not give them a chance.
He was born with a
Pass.
It's part of my determination and resiliency. So I do just want to say thank you all for this. And it almost makes me wish that I could go back through treatment 14 years ago to go through this model. So my question is, what are you going to do next?
Right.
Or when are you going to use this in other treatment facilities? Are you going to market it towards that, or are you going to start your own? And when's your book coming out?
Well, Carl, that's a great question, and I'm so appreciative that you asked that. The way that I see this playing out is I don't think this model needs to be... Is it on? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. I don't think that this model needs to be constrained or limited to one treatment organization, facility, or setting. And what we would like to do is to see this replicated all throughout the country. We could go and do trainings, and we could just educate others, the staff, about how we implement this model. And so, Carl, that's kind of where I see it going next. I plan, we've got several other conferences later this year, but I would like to write that book, The Trait-Based Model of Recovery, and include a biographical component to it. And I would like for you to write the foreword, please, Carl.
I'm waiting for the audio book.
Well, I suppose that answered my question a little bit. My name is Margaret Kaiser. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I work with the Office of Drug Control Policy in Harford County. I'm a person in long-term recovery. I'm a prevention specialist today. I'm a drug court graduate myself. And so a lot of what I focus on is training for peer recovery specialists themselves. Currently, I'm working on research that involves training for peer recovery specialists, specifically working with the co-occurring disorder population. I'm curious about if you feel as though that this curriculum is appropriate for peer recovery specialists to administer themselves, and if it would be effective for folks who not only have substance use disorder, but are also experiencing co-occurring disorders, recognizing that strength-based model.
Yeah, absolutely. I think peer support specialists are probably the best positioned people to facilitate components of this model. Absolutely. Because we've been there and we can relate and communicate with similar language, and I fully see an appropriate and effective space for that to occur.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
this
thank
work.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Roop. Thank you, Mr. Privet.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Cody Conway. I'm here from Arkansas. I work for the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. This is a comment. It's not a question. I just wanted to give you guys, from my deepest heart, thanks for doing this work, because I feel that it bridges the gap between so many things. It bridges the gap between 12-step culture and the real world. It bridges the gap. I could go on. There's a lot of things, but I got sober in 12-step fellowship 5 years ago, and there's, for good reason, there's a lot of focus on ego deflation. And so we really pound in character defects that gets a lot of airtime. But in terms of finding our strengths, I feel like you're kind of left on your own to do that.
That's true.
Yes. And I just wanted to share that I was just accepted into law school.
Oh,
Which is on a leadership scholarship.
Oh, that's great.
And
It's beautiful.
yes, and I thought, but I had to figure or come to terms with those strengths on my own.
Yeah.
So when I think about, I'm displaying one of the traits of emotional, over emotionality.
Right.
When I think about what this means for people who are just in the beginning of their journey, it really moves me.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank Mr. Privet for modeling what allyship looks like for our population by speaking about stigmatizing language. So,
It was scary when I did it.
yeah. But I'm very overwhelmed with gratitude, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm from the Northeast Tennessee area of Tennessee. I've been able to hear Judge Sloan and as well as Dr. Stephen Lloyd speak a couple of times, several times actually. I have two questions. My first one is, we have a drug court program in Northeast Tennessee, and we're very thankful for what they are able to do. But do you know of any resources or anything that we could use to help us advocate for our drug court expanding into assisting those with medically assisted treatment, because they are an abstinence-only drug court program? And I know that
So
you
that's
have a
one-
lot
that's
of
one of the
information
things,
on
yeah.
that one. And then my second question is, as someone who is an advocate for those in recovery and who employs persons that are in recovery, do you have options for resources that are available to us as employers that we can more, help with professional development for those we have that are that work for us that are in recovery? Thank you.
So that's what I was talking about, judges being teachable. They're generally hard-headed. And I can say that because I generally have a hard head about a lot of things. If you look at the NADCP and their best practices that they put out, if a judge will follow those are backed by research. The current version of the NADCP recommendations. It includes MOUD. It includes very little jail sanctions. It has to be. The only way I found to change that system is for the people within it and around it, probation and parole, drug court workers themselves, to continually educate the judge, continually, and to go to bat when he or she wants to put somebody in jail for 7 days for a positive drug screen. Say that's against NADCP best practices. Just continually harp on that. What we are, eventually the judge will either just get tired and give in or retire. So we're lucky enough to where, in Kentucky we have we're at that period where we have a turnover now that we got a lot of younger judges come in. So we're able to reach those more readily. As far as resources out in the community, I know that in Tennessee you all have like a case manager or something that works with your probation or parole. Is that do you have a TCM or just at least a case manager, some kind of position? Who do you use to do your assessments?
It's the criminal justice liaison.
Criminal justice liaison. That might be a person to help at least gather resources, but you're dealing with case management at that point. As far as education resources in the community, there's no one clearinghouse for it. There would be a clearing, there could be in the future sometime if somebody puts them together, but like everything else in our industries, in our area, it starts locally with some good people. And, Dr. Monty Burks is right here. He's got all his good people too. So, and he's talking and he's not listening to me right now, so that's okay. But it starts local and it spreads out. Tennessee, between everything y'all got going on, it's just amazing. Y'all are not a Medicaid expansion state, so you have some, Kentucky luckily is, so you'll have some real challenges with as far as treatment accessibility, but you all have incredible grassroots and government support for those grassroots movements. So check into those.
Hi, my name is Sage Chioma, and I'm from Guilford County in North Carolina. And I want to just say thank you based on the fact that I am a person in long-term recovery. And I'm just starting Chioma Transformational Consulting after working in nonprofits forever and not having this model. I really fell a lot, skinned my knees, and it took forever to find my voice, even though I'm a poet, right? And I try to bring inspirational speaking, poetry, everything into social justice, DEI, and all the work that needs to be done in that area. So I thank you because I promote leadership from the bottom up. I think it's a very real concept, and I think it's where we're headed. And my nonprofit that I work for, I've started something called Parents Promoting Wellness. And so we come together and create safe spaces. So I want to bring this model to Guilford County like yesterday. And I'm kind of, really my question is, how soon will we be able to really spread it? Because it's so long overdue. And self-worth is something that I'm still working with because I am a person who survived the crack cocaine epidemic. And there are a lot of us, but what my community is still recovering from is the response. And so I bring poetry and those kind of conversations into spaces that, create a message of hope, resilience, and that type of stuff. So I know empathy, if we can lead with that. And I want to thank the judge with my whole heart for being able to say, I can drop the mask, right? And I can drop all of those titles and all those different things to really do sincere work. And authenticity, when, I promote it sometimes, it's not well received. So this helps us to be able to be in situations where transparency isn't always welcome. So thank you. And could you tell us how we could get this to the communities yesterday?
Yeah. Well, get in the time machine and go backwards in time. Actually, I believe our contact information is in the PowerPoint provided to you. If my email is there, phone number is there, also my website. So it's going to be www.jasonroopphd.com. And there's a place on there to contact me. And if you will send a message and just reach out, we will move to you as quickly as possible. I think that we can get this implemented probably within the next 90 days. And then we can start rolling it out across the country. Yeah.
I'm looking.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that
I got
Dr.
one
Roop-
job and I can't get it.
One thing that Dr. Roop too hasn't mentioned is that his research was published. That citation is in the information there. So you'll have access to it if you can get to that. What
It's on the
journal
front
was it?
Slide 2, I think, Sherman.
What journal were you in?
The Journal of Addiction Research and Therapy.
Okay.
There we go.
Yep.
Here we go. There it is.
Yeah, so if you guys will just send a note, you can either email or via the website, just contact us, and I will respond, and we will work to provide you exactly what you've requested in an appropriate, timely manner.
There's
got Laura
Brian's as well, just for switch.
Got Laura County in the house now. Go ahead.
I thought you guys did a great job on your presentation. Me and Dr. Roop have been trying to meet up for a while. We're kind of like two of America's most wanted. It's rare you see us in the same place at the same time because we're all over the country. But as you know, this was by far my favorite session as a serial entrepreneur and being in Bright Leadership, one of 40 Kentuckians in the state to be picked. That changed my life. Like all I do with my clothing company that I started, Adam Larkin, I'm a person in long-term recovery, is I just go with motivation, inspiration, trying to show people you only get one life. You got to do the most, and you got to also get outside of yourself and help somebody else, because by doing that, God will bless you and reward you and help you. And I just thought this was a great session, and we need to start like a long-term recovery kind of Bright Leadership thing.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Adam, you typify and personify the model just with everything that you're actively engaged in, and it's good. We had to finally connect outside of the state of Kentucky before we met, so it's good to see you. Thanks for attending.
Hi, doing Giuseppe Mandel. I'm also a person in long-term recovery from Tin High, Las Vegas, Nevada. I love what you said, especially the judge up here, because I successfully failed drug court.
A lot of people have. A whole lot of people have. Yeah.
And then through a long journey, I ended up getting sober again, and just exactly by the traits that you've seen, by identical by the traits, and so now I work in recovery to get back, and I'm always looking for other options. But the question is, have you implemented this or shown any of the data to say higher organizations with these traits and data, say even law enforcement or different models of that?
Right. We have not. We've kept it pretty close to the vest until this summit, the RX Summit. We did share it a couple weeks ago in Kentucky at the Chamber of Commerce event. We're not currently carrying this out, but we are accepting applications for further studies to be carried out within the treatment setting. And then we're looking at several approaches when it comes to multiple phases of this model, but to include external partners, for example, in the integration of the model within their communities. So it's a brand new baby, so to speak, and we want it to grow up as fastly and rapidly and robustly as possible. So yeah, hopefully we're open to any opportunities, and we'll explore any of those.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'd love to connect after the seminar at some point.
Let's do it. Congratulations on your recovery journey. Everybody that's shared, congratulations on your recovery journey.
We have just 2 more minutes here. You've answered the questions that I had. No other questions have been asked. Is there anything? Anybody else have any other questions? Good job, guys. Do either one of you have anything else you'd like to say?
We're good. Just
All
thank
right.
you guys so much. For your
Thank you all very much. Another round of applause for Jason.